Once a victim, Alan Carter was now the hunter. His childhood had been snuffed out too early, tainted by the vile hands of a man named Thomas Grayson, a man who had faced no justice. Now, with years of rage pent up, Alan was determined to exact his revenge. But the method he chose was as explosive as the anger that fueled him. The hum of a busy post office filled the air as Alan dropped off the unassuming package. To anyone looking, it was just another parcel in a sea of brown paper and cardboard. But beneath its harmless exterior was a device designed to deliver death. As he walked away, Alan's mind was a tempest, a mixture of grim satisfaction and trepidation. He had left his mark on the world, a smudge of a fingerprint that he knew could link him to the impending disaster. But it didn't matter. It was a price he was willing to pay. 2 days later, news reports confirmed that the bomb had detonated. Thomas Grayson was dead. A sense of satisfaction washed over Alan, but it was quickly replaced by dread as the camera panned over the crime scene, focusing on a piece of debris with a clearly visible fingerprint. A desperate fugitive now, Alan fled his home, plunging into a cat-and-mouse chase with law enforcement. His car disappeared into the night, his rearview mirror filled with the relentless pursuit of flashing blue and red lights. He had prepared for this, stashing essentials in the trunk, a change of clothes, cash, food, and a stolen license plate. Yet he knew evasion was only half the battle. Time and distance were crucial. Damn it, Alan. You could have walked away, he muttered to himself as he navigated the winding roads, his mind drifting back to the moment he sent the parcel. In the heart of the manhunt, Sergeant Lisa Donnelly was relentless. She stared at the fingerprint, a damning piece of evidence. Alan Carter, she muttered, a look of disbelief on her face. She knew Alan's story, his years of suffering under Grayson. Yet, she also knew the law and the repercussions of taking justice into one's own hands. Get a bolo out for Carter, she ordered. Track his credit cards, check with his friends and family. He won't get far. In a diner, hundreds of miles away, Alan kept his head low, his eyes fixed on a flickering television screen. The news was all about him, his face, his name, his crime. With a quick glance at the waitress, he left a crumpled note and slipped away, leaving his unfinished meal behind. Switching cars and identities became a routine. Yet the terror of being discovered lurked with every passing mile, every knock on a motel door, every glance from a stranger. However, Alan clung to his anonymity like a lifeline, driving through endless country roads and sleepless city nights. His life had transformed into a heart-racing, adrenaline-fueled nightmare, the past and present intertwining into a horrific knot. Alan's voice echoed in the still motel room. Justice isn't about getting even, but about closure. On the 5th day of the chase, Lisa and her team found their first lead. He was here in this diner, she muttered, holding up the crumpled note left behind by Alan. He's getting sloppy. Lisa's determination was unwavering. We're closing in, she assured her team, the resolve in her eyes mirroring the relentless pursuit. Despite the circumstances, she sympathized with Alan, understanding the trauma that had driven him to such lengths. Yet her duty was clear. Bring Alan to justice. Alan, sensing the walls closing in, grew increasingly paranoid. Every siren in the distance sent his heart pounding, every unfamiliar face a potential threat. But he had come too far to give up now. Driving through the rural outskirts of Nevada, he noticed a black SUV tailing him. Glancing in the rearview mirror, his heart skipped a beat when he saw the flashing blue and red lights. Accelerating, he veered onto a dusty dirt road, the desert stretching endlessly on either side. As he raced across the rugged terrain, he turned on the radio, trying to steady his breathing. The broadcaster's voice filled the silence. The nation watches as the 5-day-long manhunt for Alan Carter continues, with no sight of the alleged. With a swift turn of the dial, the voice was drowned out, replaced by the roaring silence of the desert. Ahead of him was nothing but the vast expanse of barren land, the trail of dust behind him serving as the only reminder of his relentless pursuers. In the command center, Lisa tracked Alan's movements, the red blip on the radar screen a beacon of his position. He's heading into the desert, Route 67, she barked. I need a unit there now. Alan's focus was unwavering as the pursuit continued, his foot heavy on the accelerator. Sweat poured down his face, The heat of the desert nothing compared to the heat of the chase. His breaths came in sharp, ragged gasps, his heart pounding in his chest like a drum. Suddenly, a helicopter roared overhead, the deafening thump of its blades a stark reminder of his impending doom. He swerved, narrowly avoiding a barrage of bullets that tore up the dirt road. In the copter, Lisa locked her gaze on the fleeing car. She gripped the edge of her seat, her knuckles white, the adrenaline pumping through her veins. "Alan Carter, this is the end of the line. Give up now," she spoke into the loudspeaker, her voice echoing over the barren desert. But Alan was not about to surrender. He thought about the horrors of his past, the monster who had stolen his innocence, and the justice he had finally served. The thought filled him with a sense of resolve, the will to keep going, to keep running. His car roared through the desert, kicking up a massive cloud of dust. The helicopter maintained a close pursuit, the deafening roar of its blades almost drowning out Lisa's persistent pleas for surrender. Finally, as the fuel gauge approached E, Alan knew he couldn't run any longer. He steered the car to a slow stop, a resigned sigh escaping his lips. His heart pounded as he stepped out, his eyes meeting the blinding glare of the helicopter spotlight. "Alan Carter, you are under arrest for the murder of Thomas Grayson," Lisa's voice echoed, full of reluctant resolve. In the deafening silence of the desert, Alan raised his hands, finally accepting his fate. His face was an eerie mix of regret and relief. The manhunt was over. But for Alan, it was not the end. It was just another chapter in his ongoing battle for closure, a battle fought against his haunting past and the justice system. His revenge had been served, but the price he had to pay was higher than he ever imagined. As the handcuffs clicked around his wrists, Alan knew, despite everything, he had stood up against his monster. It was a victory, albeit a bittersweet one. When you subscribe, be sure to click the notification bell. Click here for more true scary stories.